Hello, welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to focus on the present moment. So this class is going to be maybe a little bit more challenging, but the reason for that is to help us really anchor into the present moment, and that truly is the only moment that matters. The past is what it is, and that's gone. The future is yet to come, but the present moment right now is the one that we should be most concerned with and the one we should be focused on. So that's today's practice. We'll start with a quote by Mother Teresa. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We only have today. Let us begin. So you will not need any props for today's class. Just bring yourself and let's get started at the top of our mat in mountain pose. So we'll get right into it. So come in, stand at the top of your mat. Feet are about hip distance apart and you're in mountain pose here. So just open up here for a moment and close down your eyes and just arrive in this present moment right here. Let go of your to-do list. Let go of what you did yesterday. Let go of what you need to do tomorrow. We're going to come right here, right now on our mat, just for this brief amount of time. So breathe in, hold, and exhale out through the mouth. Twice more. Inhale, hold, exhale, breathe out through the mouth. Once more. Inhale, hold, exhale, let it go through the mouth. All right, from here, we're going to sink back into chair, first challenging pose. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my feet hip distance apart and just sink back into that chair to make this a little less challenging, but you'll still have the focus. You can keep your hands on your knees. If you'd like to be a little bit more challenging, you can bring your hands up overhead or into prayer or back behind you. Kind of play around with where your hands need to be. But we're going to sit here and sink into the chair as if you were sitting back into a chair for just a few breaths. So go ahead and pick that variation that works best for you. Arms can be up, on your knees, behind you, in prayer. Pick what works for you. And notice when you're in this pose, can you lift your toes up a bit and sink back into your heels a bit more? Or then drop your toes back and can you sink more into your toes? See what works better for you. Kind of move around here a little bit. I personally like to be back on my heels with my toes lifted a bit. So what we're doing is here, we're anchoring in the present moment. We're getting focused here. I can feel it in my knees, my legs too, just like you. You got that fired up, but it's focusing you here in this moment. It's much harder to think about your to-do list when your quads are firing. And then from here, we're going to sit down on the mat as gracefully as you can, or just plop. And we're going to come into boat pose. That was not very graceful, but you get the idea. So we're going to sit on our sitting bones, and there's some variations here for boat. Again, this is going to be a focus pose. It's going to help work on the core, but again, focus our attention. So you can start out with your hands behind your knees here, behind your shins. Sorry, here, at your thighs. Shins are down here. I'll get my body parts right eventually. And then go ahead and you're going to balance on your tailbone, your sit bones here, and bring your legs up. And this is a good place to stay. If you really want some more to help you here, holding up, you can put your arms behind you. But you can start here, and if you feel steady and ready, bring one arm out and the other arm out. So now you're balancing on that tailbone. Your legs are up. You got a nice V shape going here with your body. Chin is up, your chest is up, you're looking up. Hold here for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. You're in the present moment right now. I have a feeling, and you're thinking, when is this moment going to be over? Another breath. And exhale, fold it in. Give yourself a nice hug there. Feels good. And now we're just going to rock over our legs and come back into a nice downward facing dog. So go ahead and come to all fours. Lift those hips up. Your hands are down in the front of the mat here. I have mine slightly turned out. I find that works better for my wrists, but you can have yours straight up if you let straight forward, or you can have them at a slight turn here, a slight angle. So go ahead and bring those hips up. And I like to pedal my legs out here a little bit, especially for the first down dog of the day. If this is your first down dog. And when you feel good, go ahead and settle into that pose there for a moment. And you will find that this is going to be a resting pose because our next pose is not so restful. Although this may feel like it's not so restful, you'll see. Breathe in and out here, another round. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to rock forward into plank, as I said. The next pose would not be as restful. You can adjust your stance if you need to. And we're going to hold here for a few breaths. So if you really find this is really too challenging for you and you really need to modify, go ahead and just bring those knees down, but you're still holding yourself up with your arms. So find what works for you. Breathing here. Notice where your thoughts are going. Are they really focused in this moment right now, or are you still like your mind is wandering and thinking about other things? If not, if it is mind, if it's wandering, bring it back to this moment. Bring it back to this pose. Pull in that belly. Another inhale, and then exhale, and go ahead and just lower yourself down on the ground as easily as you like into Sphinx pose. So here you're just going to bring your elbows underneath of your shoulders. Take a breath there, let that out. Bring that chest through, pull your chest through, have your shoulders down your back, don't have them hunching up. Looking forward, that kind of helps stretch out that stomach a bit after we did a little core strengthening there. And that's true, this class we did sneak in a little bit of core there, but it really helps to anchor you in this present moment. Breathe there. And then go ahead and come back up to all fours, and we're going to sink back into a brief child's pose, also anchoring us in this moment before we go to the top of our mat. So go ahead and stretch forward on your mat, long on the mat. Forehead could be down, you could be up on your forearms, whatever works best for you. Your seat is coming to your heels. Really stretch out long here on the mat. And be in this present moment, because a lot of times our brain likes to be either in the past or the future. It rarely wants to be in this present moment. So let's try to turn off the time traveling for a minute, and let's stay in this very moment. Not the past and not the future. Just for right now. Take another inhale and exhale there. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and stretch up into a nice downward facing dog. Release all of that. Plus it's just a great all over body stretch. And then look forward and walk forward on your mat. Inhale and halfway lift. So if you don't have, since we're not using any props today, just use your shins if your hands don't reach the ground. And look forward. And then exhale and fold in. Let it go. Shake your head yes and no. Really see how that feels in your body. And then inhale and come all the way back up. You can rise your arms overhead and come back into a nice mountain pose. Release all that back down. Take a breath here. Arrive in this moment. Close your eyes. And let's do another couple of breaths there. So inhale all the way in. Hold. And then exhale out, either through your nose or through your mouth. 2 more. Inhale. Hold the top. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Hold. Exhale, let that all go. Now we're going to do that same sequence 1 more round. So you know where we're going, you know what we're going to do. Mentally prepare yourself for it. Go ahead and have your feet hip distance apart, and we're going to sink back into that chair. So you pick your arm variation, whatever works best for you today. See where that might be. I'm going to go with my arms behind me because my shoulders have been a little tight lately, so I'm trying to open it up a little bit. You can always put your hands on your quads. You're still going to get that. So just pick what works for you and breathe here. Make sure you breathe. Don't hold your breath. You tend to hold your breath in these poses. But let's not hold our breath in this pose. Really sink deep into that chair if you can, a little deeper. Rock back on your heels a bit more. Wiggle the toes if you can. Another breath here. And then exhale, go ahead and gracefully or ungracefully sit back on your sit bones here and sit down on your seat. And we're going to come into boat pose. So you know what to do. Go ahead and pick your variation and come right into it. So whatever variation works for you. Hands can be behind you, you can be holding your legs, or they can be out. But you're looking for a V here with your upper body and your legs. And for some of you, you might be able to straighten out your legs. I'm not there today, so I'm not going to do that, but you are welcome to do that if you like. hold here for a couple of breaths. Really having your chest up toward the sky, trying to dump into your lower back. And really breathe here and be in this moment. Hold it, another breath. Exhale and give yourself a nice hug for doing that one. Nice. And then rock over your heels and come into a nice downward facing dog. So you can start in all fours if you like. Lift your hips up. Downward dog, pedal out if you like, move around, whatever you need to do. Really stretch through your arms, stretch through your legs. You know what's coming next, so take this moment to rest, quote unquote, before we go into the plank pose. And then go ahead and rock forward, come into your plank. So whatever variation, knees down or knees up. Look out in front of you. Really fire up your legs, your arms. Really push through the floor here with your arms and your legs. And really feel your core kind of engaging there. Try not to have your body really, like your hips way up in the air. You want to be in a nice straight line here. Another breath. One more breath. And go ahead and lower yourself down to the ground. Let's come into Sphinx. Let's release that. Such a great strengthening pose. And it's challenging. It's fun to see how much longer you can hold it from day to day. So go ahead and come into your Sphinx pose. Shoulders underneath of your elbows underneath your shoulders. Look forward. Giving yourself, your stomach, a nice stretch here from after those two core work we did. Breathing here and arriving in this moment. We're not trying to rush to the next pose. We're arriving and being in this moment. How does that feel? And then we're going to exhale back into a nice child's pose. Okay. So go ahead and sink your hips back onto your heels and stretch out on the mat, long on the mat. The forehead can come down, can be up on your forearms, whatever is going to work best for you today. Remember, you have to do what's best for you. Listen to what your body is asking for. Breathing there, a couple of breaths here. And just arrive. Again, you're on your mat in this present moment. How does that feel? And then we're going to inhale and come into a nice downward facing dog. Stretch out really well here. Give yourself a nice long stretch here. Push your hands into the floor. Feel the energy coming up through your feet, up to your hips, up through your arms, and all meeting on your hips. And then look forward, walk forward on your mat, and inhale and halfway lift. Hands can be on shins. Exhale and fold in. You can always have a bend in your knees. Shake your head. Shake your head. Yes, I'm glad that is done. Shake your head. No, I kind of wish we were doing another round. You always have that option. Inhale and come all the way back up. So for those of you who'd like to make this a longer class, you can always go through that sequence, 2, 3, 4, how many ever rounds more you'd like to do. So you can always add to these classes. Now we're going to do a nice balance pose. We're going to come into tree pose here. So I would like for you to start with, we're going to start with our left leg. We're going to bounce on our left leg, and we're going to turn our right leg out. So pick your variation that works best here for you. You can either keep your heel down next to your ankle. It can come to your calf, or you can bring it all the way up to your thigh, your upper thigh. Find a point of focus out in front of you and balance here. Really breathing here and watching, looking at that focus point that you have out in the distance. Breathing. If you feel steady, you can bring the arms up overhead. You will sway, that's okay. Trees sway. So make yourself like a tree and sway in the breeze. If you fall out, come back into it. Stay with it for another moment. You'll notice that you're really anchored here in this moment when you're trying to balance. So stay in that moment, stay in that focus. Breathe. And exhale, release that, let that go. And go ahead and shake out both your legs there. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the other side. So go ahead and balance on your right leg. Turn your left leg out. Sorry, bouncing on the right, turning the left out. So pick your variation. I'll do the the shin area this time, just to show that variation. Find your point of focus and breathe here. And really try to stay focused and grounded and in this moment. If you fall out, it's okay. Breathe here. Arms can go up overhead. Sway like a tree does in the breeze. Another inhale. And exhale and release that and let that go. Shake it all out. Shake your legs out. And now we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to do a nice little supine twist here and then Shavasana. So we're practically done. So all you're going to do is go ahead and lay on your mat. We're going to stretch out the left leg out in front of us, and we're going to hug in that right knee, and then just bring that right knee across your body with your left leg out straight. And your knee may or may not come to the ground, and that's okay. You can just have your heel down, your foot down, or you can have it hovering, it's fine. Bring that right arm out to the side. And we're just going to release all that we've done with a nice twist here. So look out to the right. You can close your eyes, take a nice inhale and exhale through the nose. And then inhale and come back up. Stretch that right leg out long on the mat. Hug the left knee in. And you guessed it, we're going to go ahead and twist over to the left. And I have a mic here in the way, so you go ahead and do that. I'm just going to move this so it doesn't mess up the mic. Let's go ahead and stretch your left arm out to the left. Breathing there. Your eyes can be closed if you like. And then come all the way back up. Hug your knees into your chest. And then let everything go into the mat, into Shavasana. So stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms. Get comfortable in this pose. So let everything go into the mat here for a moment. You may be tempted to turn the video off and be done with the class, but instead I want you to close your eyes and come into this moment, this stillness, and let the effects of your practice wash over you. Going to breathe here for just another round or two of breath. Letting your body go into the mat. And being here. For those of you that have more time, go ahead and ignore my cues and stay there. For those that need to go on with their day, go ahead and bring both of your knees into your chest one at a time. Give yourself a nice hug. And then go ahead and roll over to one side. It doesn't matter which. Pause there for just a moment. Make a pillow out of your arm. And then inhale. Oh, just went in my face. And then bring yourself back all the way up to a seated position. And arrive here for a moment. I know it's tempting to say, like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Just arrive for just a moment. Close your eyes down. Come into a seat here. Feel and notice how you feel being in this moment. It was a short class, but during this short class, we really focused in the present moment. How does that feel in your body right now? Just notice. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. Thank you for joining me for this class and taking the time to be in the present moment. It is truly the only one that matters. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.